Good morning, Soraya.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Very nice.
Getting towards the end of the year here. We're on episode 110, I think.
What?
Yeah, 110, I think.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. We just keep
Yes.
trucking along.
I
And
don't know. We're living in this weird vortex of time.
yeah, and people keep answering our calls. And but today we're not having a guest.
Yeah.
And I have kind of mixed feelings about this one
Tell me
because
why, or tell us why.
so I always like to end with the good. So the bad part is that our subject matter is no longer with us.
Correct.
He passed away in 2001, in March 16th of 2001. But the good part of my mixed feelings is because I am super excited to talk about this person who, again, I have a stack of records like I had last week, a very thick stack when we talked about Kendra Smith.
Perfect.
And this time we're talking about somebody who has played in or participated in a lot of songs, albums that are really near and dear to my heart. So do you want to tell our listeners who this person is?
Yeah. Today we're happy to talk about the work of Will Glenn.
Yes, a key member of the Rain Parade, especially, right?
Or
That,
particularly, yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, we can also add a number of other projects that he worked on and was
yeah.
a part of. So before we go any further, let's get it started.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. All right. So William Cooper Glenn, or as Matt Pucci likes to call him, Willie.
Willie.
Willie. And we've got some stories that Matt shared with us when we spoke with him last night. But let's get started on some of the projects that he was in.
All right, Jeff. So for someone who's new or hearing the name Will Glenn for the first time, what sort of projects could you direct them to find out more about him as a musician?
So I think the first and foremost, especially since our focus is on the Paisley Underground, definitely the early Rain Parade
Yeah.
material. In fact, all of the Rain Parade that was officially released, Will was a part of.
Right.
But then also, under the name William Cooper, Will Glenn was a part of Mazzy Star.
Right.
So every Mazzy Star release also includes Will Glenn also. And I think I've only seen him perform live once, and it was with the band Opal.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I would say Rain Parade and Mazzy Star are
For sure. And then
the biggest, but we've got a
but then
number of
there's also a connection to 3:00.
yes, yep,
And because he recorded with them, and also the album Rainy Day,
yes,
and Viva Saturn.
yep,
So and what I love is looking at all the various names that he used
yeah,
and is credited under, and it's not just William Cooper Glenn, it's William Cooper, it's Will Glenn,
yeah,
W. Glenn, Will Cooper Glenn. I mean,
yeah.
like it's great to see that name, but also it just shows variety of projects, variety of artists that he worked with, and I'm glad that we're talking about him today.
Yes. And unfortunately, we can't interview him, but we did definitely want to do an artist focus and
Absolutely.
talk about Will and some of the projects he's been involved with.
So Jeff, this was a topic that you've been wanting to do for a while. So
Yeah.
share with our listeners why.
For me personally, I think Will's contributions were immense in the songs that he performed with and the bands that he performed with, and I feel like maybe he gets overlooked, and I wanted our listeners to know what a great artist he was and the impact that he made on the music that we like. And we picked a few songs, and I think the songs that we're going to play today really highlight what an impact he made on some of the songs. And in our effort to speak or talk about as many of the artists of the Paisley Underground that we cannot overlook Will Glenn and the impact that he had.
Absolutely.
I think the first recorded output that Will was a part of was the Rain Parade single, What She's Done to Your Mind,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. And there's a picture of these very young guys, Stephen Roback, David Roback, Matt Pucci, Michael Murphy was their original drummer. But on the back of the single, there's a picture of these guys very young, and there's a very young, dapper-looking Will Glenn on the back of the single,
Yes.
looking sharp. But I think this is where it started for Will. And I remember us talking to Michael Quercio at one point, and he learned of Will's violin playing because Will did some singing. He played bass, he played keyboards, but his violin was what stuck out to Michael Quercio, and he said, we have to get this guy in on some of our songs. So that leads me to my first song, and I think it's again one of the early performances of Will, and it's on one of our favorite records that we've talked about many times, and it's the 3 O'Clock's Baroque Hoedown EP. And
Jeff is holding up one of many pressings. This is a Japanese
Japanese
pressing.
This is my Japanese pressing, yes. And you know that this is one of my all-time favorite records, period, any band. But when you hear right off the bat on this particular song, you hear Will Glenn's violin playing. And to me, there's a lot of aspects of the song that I really, really love. But Will's part is essential in the song. And it just gives it's the special vibe. And I don't know, it's just his performance on this song. This could be one of my favorite 3 O'Clock songs. And Will's contribution, this violin part, really lifts it up to that level for me. Absolutely. So what do you think about listening to the 3 O'Clock's Marjorie Tells Me?
Let's go.
Vibration.
that song starts and ends with that violin. And isn't that violin part such a key element in that song?
Yes.
I just feel like I've heard the song live without the violin before, and it's a great song. It stands on its own, but that violin part is just so special. And every time I just hear that, I don't know if it's fiddle playing, since it's that real choppy,
Very quick.
yeah. But as soon as I hear that violin part come in, I'm just filled with warmth.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's, first of all, I mean, it's a great tune, but it's that intro. I mean, it's hypnotic.
It is.
You know?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. So from there, I've got a few more records that he played on.
All right.
So Radio Tokyo tapes is something that we've talked a lot about. And Rain Parade had a song, because I think we learned that the band Rain Parade recorded a few songs at Radio Tokyo tapes.
Right.
Saturday's Asylum is what's on this one. So another record that has Will on it that's extremely important to me. So a number of albums that I have, and as a young music listener, record collector, I was always a fan of putting on the record and reading through the credits. So Will's name, in one form or another, showed up on a lot of the records that are extremely important to me. So again, a reason why I felt like we definitely wanted to talk about him. And then another record is Rain Parade's Emergency Third World Power Trip, which we've talked a lot about. And Will was a key element to the formation of the band with Matt Pucci and Stephen Roback and David Roback. So, and Eddie Kawa, we talked to him before. What a sweet guy. But another important record that you and I both absolutely love, with Will's name in the credits.
Yes.
And then back to 3 o'clock. Not only did they want Will as a guest musician on Baroque Hoedown, but the follow-up 16 Tambourines, they brought him back to play on this record as well. So again, another record which you and I hold very near and dear to our hearts, right? With his name on it. And then this should bring us to your song, with the Rain Parade's follow-up EP, Explosions in the Glass Palace, where Will not only plays on it, but he also has some writing credits on it.
Yes.
So, and then I always love the cover of this with Will's expression on the cover. They're sitting in front of this museum, which I want to recreate with you one day, next time we make it to San Francisco.
It's one of our many Paisley Underground album recreations that we want to do.
Yeah. We had talked about that when we went to see Rain Parade the last time. That was such a hit and run trip that it didn't happen. So yes. So how about we play your song now, or talk about your song?
So the song that I want to play first is No Easy Way Down. Will has a writing credit on this song in particular, and the version I want to play is from Perfume River. And on the insert of that, it's dedicated, it says, in fond memory of Will Glenn.
Oh.
And I don't know, there's just something about it. First of all, this song to me is that quintessential Rain Parade song. But and then I've heard it live through different versions, and it's a song that, like, you just can't shake it, right?
Yeah.
I love the lyrics on this song, but it's the arrangement. The arrangement is just, I mean, it knocks your socks off every time. So I want to just start off with No Easy Way Down.
I'm clapping in that audience too. What a great song.
So one of the things that Matt told us when we when we called him the other day um, was that Will is the one that put the string part at the end of the song, and that was something that he and that Will and Matt came up with together. So, and for those of you who don't know, Perfume River is a recording of an '84 show in Rochester, New York.
I'm really glad that you picked that, and I don't know if I recall seeing that dedication, but that makes it even that much more special
Right.
that you picked that particular version.
Well, that's the version that I've been listening to a lot lately. So,
Yeah.
and then when I found out that little detail, I said, perfect.
Do you remember when we were in San Francisco last year watching Rain Parade and they ended with that? How amazing that version sounded.
Yes. I still remember it.
Yeah, and it's one of their closers that they've been using with to close out their sets with because it's such an epic piece. It's probably not only one of my favorite Rain Parade songs, it's probably one of my favorite all-time songs, period.
Yeah.
It's just a great song. And knowing Will's impact on that song and even getting a writing credit on it, it's
Right.
just cool. And speaking of writing credits, I think we also learned from Matt when we had that phone conversation that there was a Rain Parade song that he did not get credit for, right? That he should have gotten credit for.
Yeah. And that was Carolyn's song. And what Matt Pucci said is he should have the credit because he played it all.
Yeah, so I think the orchestration part on that, which again is a vital part of that song. So you hear just the emotion in from Will's part is just amazing. So, but there is no writing credit yet. Right? So,
I mean,
hey, if Yoko Ono can get her writing credit on some John Lennon songs way after the fact that John Lennon is gone, maybe
all things are possible.
things are possible.
All things are possible.
We're talking about songs from Explosions in the Glass Palace. I also chose a song from this record. And it was another song on the record where Will gets a writing credit. And you're going to have to help me on this because you're a little bit better at taking notes than I am and have a better memory. But I want to play the song Prisoners. And we learned a little bit about why Will got writing credit on Prisoners. And if I'm not mistaken, it had something to do with them putting the song together in an automobile, right?
So what Matt Pucci shared with us is that the song was written in a van after a gig on a little keyboard.
Right.
I want you all to just kind of visualize that. But what he said is that Will came up with the chords on the bridge.
Ooh.
Right. He conceived of it. So I mean, I'm just trying to picture a little keyboard coming out and them just kind of writing this out. But Prisoners, great song.
Yeah.
Another one, classic off that album.
Yeah, I think Matt said that he heard Steven playing a bass part and said, "What's this?" Right? What
Right.
What do you got brewing there? And then they started to work out the song, and that's funny that they're working it out in the van after a gig, and here's Will with this little tiny keyboard in the back and comes up with part of this bridge part with Matt, right? So, and it's a great song. I mean, I would be redundant if I listed all of the great songs from Rain Parade because I would list every single one. But this particular EP, the band still plays every single song on the EP when they do live shows, and this one's no exception. But as we play this, pay particular attention when we get to the bridge part, and picture Will in the back of a touring van with a little tiny, I don't know if it was a Casio keyboard or a little keyboard. And writing and contributing to this. So again, this is Rain Parade from Explosions in the Glass Palace, Prisoners.
Someday he'll join her there down by the side of the road. So they warn, don't pick up hitchhikers, maybe escape prison.
All right. In my mind, that is probably a perfect song. So
Yes.
every element of that, with from Steven's bass line, which I could see, I can just imagine Matt walking in and hearing Steven playing that and saying, "What is this? What is that? That dun, dun." Just that line, just that bass line is incredible, and that's Steven's voice, of course, and Eddie's drums, where he just lays back and just, it's the beat on that song is just incredible.
Right.
And then the guitar between that, I'm guessing it's probably a 12-string acoustic guitar, but Matt's guitar noodling on this, perfect. Like, it just makes the song just super vibey. And then it
Yes.
falls on that bridge, and when it falls back into those keyboard chords that Will adds to the song, it's just an amazing song.
Yeah. It's wrapped up in a nice package, this song.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
All right, so Will Glenn. So Rainy Day was the next record that I have that he participated in, and you know what this record means to me. With my particular copy, has every living member's signature on it, except for Carl Percoda and the tambourinist Spock, which I might get her to sign this. So yeah, so
Woo!
another big record that Will participated in. And last week when we were talking about Kendra Smith, I brought this
Right.
record out by Jane Bond and the Undercovermen. It's called Politically Correct. Will actually participated in this too, playing violin on, what song did he play on? I saw credits for that. Where did he play? Oh, here, violin on a song called The Girl Who Knew Too Much. So as we go through these and discussions that we've had over the last couple of years, these kind of things where Kendra's on this, Will's on this, again, it just gives me this great feeling that all these artists were working on each other's records and a part of participating and creating all this music together. So there's this scene in LA, and everybody's popping on everybody's records. So again, Jane Bond and the Undercovermen, Will shows up on that record too. And then we've talked about this record before, which is the Windbreakers Terminal album, and the entire band, Rain Parade, came out and they did a version of Television's Glory. So another album that's got Will's credit on it. Another record that I listen to quite frequently. And then Crashing Dream by Rain Parade, where we've got the band underwater. I think we learned from Matt Pucci on an episode that somebody was taking a photograph from a balcony in an apartment complex or something. Then we got Will here underwater with the rest of the band. And this was the last studio album by the band, but it may not be the very last Rain Parade studio album.
Jeff, what are you talking about? What sort of things are you putting out into the atmosphere?
New Rain Parade album? Plural?
Jeff, where are you hearing these rumors?
Well, Matt did share that they've been working on some new music, and it's no secret they've been posting different things of them being in the studio, and we learned that there's so many songs that there may be multiple albums in the future for our favorite band.
We're here for all of it.
We are here for all of it, yes. And continuing on, Jack Watterson, who we spoke to before, from the album Whose Dog, Will was a big part of this record and plays fiddle. And I think we played one of the songs, Road to Hell, previously, that I think Jack told us that there's 3 violin parts that Will came up with. So it brings us to the next record in my stack, and this is Viva Saturn. So I think you have something to talk about.
Yeah, my second pick is from this album, and it's called Wild Town. So the song is credited as being written by Will Glenn and Stephen Roback. But it's so funny that you mentioned Jack Watterson. So Jack Watterson has a credit on this as playing slide guitar.
Ooh.
And, you know, I really, really like Jack as a musician, and he's so creative, but I love knowing that he's also on this track too. And there is I'm just going to make a little sidetrack. On Viva Saturn, on side B, Will Glenn is credited as producing tracks 1 through 3. Remember I'm Dead, Old World, and Wild Town with Stephen. So he's credited as producing those tracks with Stephen. But one last thing, there is a cover. Okay, there is a cover.
Okay.
And it's credited to Jack Watterson, and it's I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive. And it's on a compilation of, it's called Don't Shoot. But Will is credited as playing the fiddle and backing vocal. And I need to hear this version. It was only released as an LP. It's an 86 release. So if anyone has this digitized, please send it to Jane Doe and Beth Dreneman.
Yeah.
But I really, really want to hear this cover, and it's a cover of a. Why am I blanking? Why am I totally blanking?
So is that an 80s song, a 70s song?
No, it's an old country song.
Oh, okay.
Hey, give me a minute.
Okay.
Because it's driving me crazy that my brain isn't. And I'm gonna kick myself.
It is early in the morning.
Well, you know, Hank Williams. Thank you. Bloody
Wow.
hell! It's a Hank Williams cover.
Ooh.
And that album, Don't Shoot, is a compilation of covers of Hank Williams songs.
Oh, okay.
So, and I went on a deep dive looking for this, but I haven't found anything digitized. And Lord knows I don't have this in my collection, my vinyl collection. But if anyone does have it and has it digitized, please let us know, because I really, really want to hear it.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I digress. But what I like is, look at how we've talked about Will Glenn today. Keyboards, violin, and now like fiddle, vocals, writing, producing, and, you know, just a really creative mind, musical mind, right?
Yeah.
You know, think about what Michael Curcio said. You know, I heard it and I said, I want this, you know, I want this collaboration to happen. And I think that's what's really special about Will Glenn, but we'll talk about him some more. Wild Town.
And I know what's
You're messing with my brain with that ending. So I wanted to mention that this album was put out on Heyday Records, which our buddy Pat Thomas
Yeah.
started. So, man, what a great song, Soraya. Thank you for
I,
playing
I'm
that.
telling you, you know, every time I hear Steven sing, I'm reminded how great of a singer he is, you know,
Yes,
and
yes.
he downplays his lead vocals so much. And, you know, we've had the opportunity to speak to him a couple of times, and he always kind of downplays it. Oh, you know, it's nothing special. He's fantastic on the song,
Yes.
and his vocals are just, I don't know, there's something, to use your word, there's something really vibey about this song. And the arrangement is really cool. I mean, that slide guitar, you just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
all of it is really good, but definitely you see that creative side. And I think, you know, all these people together, you know, because Rain Parade, Viva Saturn, it's, you know, all the same cast of characters usually. And um I just, there's something about this, and knowing that one that will produce this song, but also had a hand in the writing and the arrangement, it all just goes together. And
Yeah.
it really highlights, you know, this kind of uh, breadth of creativity that he brings to the table. And, you know, look at all those albums that we've talked about so far as you were going through your own collection. You know, lots of different styles, lots of different things, but you know, he contributed something really important to all of them.
Yeah.
You know, it's worth noting.
I'm especially glad that you picked this particular song due to the fact that we've picked songs where he's played on, picked songs that he's written on, but production as well, as you mentioned. So I'm glad that you brought that aspect to his talent to
Yeah.
the forefront. So
Yes.
so then there's some other records before we close out that we'd be remiss if we didn't mention. He was a part of Ethan James' What Rough Beast CD, the Starlight Desperation. He was participated in that. A band called Jackass. There's a lot of credits when you flip through Discogs of projects that he's participated in. So many that obviously he had a big impact, but big impact on me is Opal.
Right.
Again, it was the only time that I've seen him perform, and it was when they were touring this particular album, Happy Nightmare Baby, put on SST. And at the time, Will was playing bass, had bleached blonde hair. He's normally a brown haired guy, but and I recognized his face as I was sitting in the grass. That show was an SST show where they had several SST bands, and it was at UCSD, just an outdoor event in front of their library where the bands just set up on a concrete platform in front of the library, and we all sat in a little grassy hill, little grassy knoll, watching the band. And uh, I wasn't sure if it was Will or not because of the bleached blonde hair.
Sure.
But I recognized that face, and sure enough, it was William Cooper, aka Will Glenn. So, and then Opal became Mazzy Star, so all of the Mazzy Star records he plays on. And Mazzy Star is not the best band to give particular credits for. They'll have the artist's name, but not what they play.
Uh-huh.
I imagine that Will could have been the bass player on a lot of these. It's hard to say because Kendra was in Opal and she was a bass player, but she was playing guitar. So I don't know, but he is credited on all of the Mazzy Star releases. So there's that, and I think that Mazzy Star might have been some of the last stuff that he worked on before he passed in 2001. I imagine, because I'm not aware of a lot of stuff that came out after that. the last Mazzy Star album, which came out, was Seasons of Your Day, which was released posthumously for Will. He had already been gone, but this album was a bunch of older recordings that they revived, and I don't know to what extent, if it was kind of like what we learned about with the last, where it's true to the original recordings, or if they went in and just remastered. But that's the last record that I know that Will played on.
Right.
But there could be more. But as we've learned, there's so many different projects that he was a part of. I mean, the main ones that we know of, Rain Parade and Mazzy Star, but not just those. It was such a talented force that all of these other artists wanted Will to be a part of
Absolutely.
their music as well. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that we lost him, but obviously he lives on in my room, right, in my ears, with all of these
Yeah.
records. And I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to talk about Will, and I'm hoping that somebody can help us out with that Don't Shoot, because you've
Get
got
that Jack Watterson covered, because I really want to hear it.
yeah
But
you've got you've piqued my interest with that.
well, if anyone can find it, I know it's you.
Yeah, I'll be
You're
looking.
much more adept at than I. But also, one last thing I want to mention: when we reached out to Matt Pucci to ask just a couple of questions, it was just very sweet to hear his reaction. It was very heartfelt, And we said we want to dedicate a show to Will Glenn. He said, "Oh, Willie!" Like it was happy,
Yeah.
And some of the anecdotes that he shared with us all come from a really good place, and so I like knowing that too.
Yeah. Oh,
That, yeah.
you just reminded me. Do you
Mm.
want to share a couple of the anecdotes?
Okay, so you're gonna have to help me with the first one. So Matt shared a couple of just personal anecdotes. So one is that Matt Pucci and Will Glenn roomed together on one tour, and Will turned on the shower,
Yeah, that's what I remember. But
and
water
steam
didn't come out.
filled the room that they were on the ground because they couldn't see anywhere else. And
Yeah,
I'm just like trying to picture it. And they quote, he said, was it that we filled the room or we filled the hotel with steam?
yeah. I think we filled the motel room, the hotel
Yeah.
room.
So I thought that we thought that was funny, but this story in particular has a connection to a song by the Hellenes called Comet, where Matt Pucci shared with us that that he, Eddie, Kawa, and Steven almost died in driving Will's car, which was a 1961 Comet. And what he said is this was when Enigma had stepped in, and there were plans to put explosions out, right?
Yes.
And but Will was working, so Matt Pucci was driving the car, and they were driving down a freeway here in Southern California, the 60 freeway, for those of you who are familiar, the Pomona. And he said, and we're driving, and all of a sudden the hood flew up somewhere near the dump.
Oh.
And, and so he said, we pulled over to the middle.
Yeah, not off to the side, not off
the side, the middle. And Matt said he used his belt to tie down
Oh.
And I'm just picturing the hood flying. I'm like, whoosh.
Oh my God.
And then how does a belt hold down a hood on a 61 Comet? Those things were built with steel.
Yeah.
I mean, those things are heavy.
Yeah.
Hats off to the belt, but also to the ingenuity, and I'm glad everyone survived.
Yes.
That trek down. They were on their way to go buy equipment.
Yeah, I think they ended up buying the guitar that ends up on Prisoners.
Right.
Back to the song we played earlier. So that is hilarious. Will Glenn's 1961 Comet almost killed our favorite band.
And then it is referred to in a later song by the Hellenes.
Yes.
You know, and I think you were the one, Jeff, that pointed out that Jim Hill shared that link with us.
Yeah, I
about
think
Will Glenn's comment.
Yeah, I think he said he was aware that the song was about Will Glenn. So when he was working on the production, he added something that panned from left to right, and it was, in his mind, his thought was that Will was such a huge force that made such a big impact, but he felt like he was here and then gone too soon. So that was his little input into the song. And then only later he learned that that the comment was referring to the car, but he said it still works for me. Yeah.
Still works.
Yeah, it still works.
Oh my God.
But obviously those that knew him could recognize what a talent Will Glenn was.
And it sounds like, you know, people appreciated him then and still do.
Still do, yeah. And we heard that, like you said, as soon as we talked to Matt last night and told him what our subject matter was going to be with Will. And you could just hear that admiration and love still in his voice. And we want to thank Matt so much for taking our late night call, unexpected late night call.
Yeah, it wasn't that late night, everybody, but it was 8:00. And so late enough. But yeah, Jeff, I'm really glad that you suggested this topic. And it's just a nice reminder of the great work that he put in, that Will Glenn put in and shared with us, and that we still get to enjoy.
Absolutely. And we can't talk about the Paisley Underground and not talk about Will Glenn.
Absolutely. Fully agree. I don't know, Jeff. We've played 4 pretty amazing songs.
Agreed.
And I think we got to leave it there for now.
Yes. And
you dropped a little tidbit, just a little eensy peensy teensy weensy juicy tidbit for Rain Parade fans and good music fans.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think we can call it a day. So, mi gente, agarubiar.
Groove on, Paisley people.
I am so sorry about my cat chiming in all the freaking time. And now, nowhere to be seen. Nowhere.
Oh, episode's over. I don't need to be here anymore. I did my part.
I can't believe you did that.
Tea and alcohol, the darkest wine's eternal sky has burned a hole before the fly. She's gone. Crawls into it backwards, floats up to the ceiling, turns around the mirror.
Kings have claimed the holy ground. Certainly will not be